Hi, I'm Mark van Leburg, CEO of Rulai. We are an AI company helping businesses build virtual assistants and chatbots. I'm joined today by Henry Truong, our VP of Enterprise Solutions. Prior to joining Rulai, Henry was the CTO of TTEC, or TTEC, a global contact center BPO. He's here to talk about the impact the current pandemic is having on contact center operations around the world, and what contact center leaders can do about this. So Henry, these are really unprecedented times. It seems like no matter how big or small your company is, whether you have 10, 100, 1,000 or more contact center agents, the influx of calls and chats is so much higher than anybody can handle, leading to long wait times and stressed agents. You've been the CTO of a contact center BPO with more than 50,000 agents for more than 16 years. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, this is my first experience with a global pandemic situation. I have some experience with national emergencies before, such as Katrina. However, what I saw are these core pain points that are facing contact centers, and they're not so different from past emergency situations. Let me summarize it into three areas. One is with the customers. The customer are always putting in more service requests during disruptions. Customer wait times are exploding, and customer are typically putting in multiple calls because their wait is for so long, artificially inflating the call incoming rate. With respect to agents, there are not enough agents available to respond to incoming requests. They are also unprepared to deal with new requests that are outside of the scope of what they're training for. They are stressed and they're overworked. As far as contact center operation, agent absenteeism is going up. And lockdowns and shelter at home disruption regulation from the government disrupt currently established contact center service operations. Contact center leadership don't have a clear strategy, but they know that they have to keep service operations from collapsing.
So let's talk a little bit about these issues in more detail. You mentioned disrupted operations. Can you expand on this?
I have 2 points. One, the agent's health is always the first priority. In order to keep contact center from working, you have to ensure that you have adequate amount of workers to maintain contact center operation to support emergency situation. To this vein, 2 things you want to think about. One, you want to make sure that the company has policies in place to minimize the spread of emergency affecting this population. For example, during the pandemic, you may want to think how you want to change the human capital time off policy to be flexible with agents who may have symptoms during the pandemic to prevent the spread of sickness into the workplace. Another area is you can adjust your working shift hour to allow more disinfection measure at the contact center physical workplace. Another area that you want to look for think about in agents' health is make sure that there's an effective way for fast information distribution and communication between contact center service command to brick and mortar contact center and remote agent workforce. Now, the government regulations such as shelter at home are happening in many states. Those disrupt operation and force agent to work from home. You want to think about how to make sure that the company can equip the work from home workers with technology that they need and with enough adequate remote IT help desks so that you can onboard these agents appropriately in their new work environment. Example, helping them set up VPNs, etc. Also, you need to increase the IT staffing to worker ratio to support work from home workforce in the new work setting. IT staff don't have to be all staffed by human engineers, but can be done by virtual assistant to handle non-complex onboarding procedures.
Thank you, Henry. Let's talk a bit more about agents, right? Not only are they being overloaded with incoming calls, it seems like they're also going to get a bunch of questions that are new and for which they haven't been specifically trained. What should leaders do about that?
Of course, service trainers are diligently work on modified service procedures as well as new procedures for this emergency. Two things that you want to think about. One is to make sure that the company can distribute these change procedures to agents for upskilling efficiently. One method that I can think about is provide an asynchronous learning environment over the corporate network. The idea here is that student learns the same material at different time and location versus the traditional training methodology of contact center, which is synchronous training, where students learn at the same times by activities such as attending a lecture. Obviously, let's make sure that the company needs to provide adequate training to support agents working in the new displaced environment, such as work from home situation. Another area in this training is how to improve service training efficiency. One can do that by using data-driven micro-learning approaches, using immediate feedback and tracking, and then deploy standard operating procedure virtual assistant to help agents fresh out of upskilling.
Let's switch to the customer experience for a second. It seems like whenever you want to call or contact a company these days, the waiting times are often hours long. And it's kind of unimaginable, but it's still the case that a lot of businesses are still rejecting incoming calls outside business hours. You talk about moving contact centers from inbound to outbound. What do you mean by that?
Well, inbound means that the customer called the contact center. Obviously, outbound means the opposite. During a national emergency situation, the number of inbound calls spikes, and the wait time will be long, sometime in terms of hours, as there are not enough agents to answer. So think about this. Let's use virtual assistant that can provide immediate response, no matter how large the volume can spike to. Use it to triage the situation, and using the virtual assistant to shield the few human agent resource available for urgent situation. Virtual assistant triaging can work this way. It's a data-driven approach to deal with unpredictable and increasing inbound call traffic. Let's divide it into 4 categories. One category would be information request. Then what you want to do in the triaging there is to route to self-service knowledge bots, and then set up the automated information notification loop to remove such call from the same customer so that they don't call inbound traffic, to clog up inbound traffic in the future. The second type of call classification would be in the low complexity and kind of routine procedures. Route these to self-service bots to solve, and then to log the request for low priority callback. for checkout. The third one is in the area of medium complexity. Route the bot to gather the data and set up the schedule for an agent to call you back. The last one is in high complexity area. You should route immediately to agents who can call back immediately or at a predefined time depending upon the emergency.
So you're talking about contact centers and specifically call centers, right? And how to get these under control. But companies have other touch points as well, right? They have their website, they have their app. Many of them have their app. They have messaging channels such as Facebook. They have chats, they have SMS. What can they do to leverage those?
Customer typically think about picking up the phone to request service in time of emergency. So you need to help notify and show these customers how that you have other provided means to get their service request fulfilled using channels outside of calling the call center. For example, a travel disrupted by COVID-19 can be solved by submitting via a form via email from a conversational automated form provided at the company website. So they need to know that such means exist. And also make sure in the fulfillment process of the shifted channel, which is now, submitting an email via a bot in a website, that the procedures are easy to understand, because this will help the customer from backing out. And then you need to ensure that progress is notified, because if you don't, the customer will call back in. And so now you have this artificially inflated inbound, as well as provide enough communication to assure the customer that if there is something wrong, there's a problem with the fulfillment, there will be a callback, so that the customer avoid the customer to have doubt and call in, at an unreasonable time.
So the situation changes every day, right? It continues to be very, very fluid. Not every day, things are kind of changing every minute almost. New information becomes available, government policies change, customers call for different things. How can leaders stay on top of all of this?
Emergency situation never lasts forever. But the thing to remember, it's very important to react to emergency events using a data-driven strategy and responses that maximizing the customer experience to the suffering customer who are enduring all of this, this problem, as well as maximizing agent resource available to support services during an emergency, while augmenting service capacity rapidly by placing agile capabilities of virtual assistants. I would recommend that company to put in place data-driven command centers and task force. The role of this is to direct the execution of the data-driven strategy during the emergency across all call centers, to assemble and protect existing and available human resource available to fight the emergency, to govern the where and how much to invest agile application of service virtual assistants, and to govern and manage the percentage of allocation of resources to shifted service channels.
So thanks, Henry. As CTO at TTEC, you've been driving the automation strategy for the company for many years. Can you talk a bit about how automation can help contact centers deal with some of these issues? You already mentioned some of them, but I'd like you to expand a little bit on that.
Automation can help in four different areas. The first one is IT help desks and human capital bots can help getting agents at home onboarded with technologies as well as deal with coronavirus-related questions and policies. Another area is in call center inbound traffic deflections and triage bot. These measures can shield the overworked agents and deflect as many calls as possible that are not urgent. Agent assist bots can help with training agents and give them access to the most up-to-date job aids and freshly modified service operating procedures. Last area is use chatbots on websites, on apps, on messaging channels that can help answer questions and resolve problems without human assistance.
Thanks, Henry. I appreciate your thoughts. Just one final comment. Everyone here at Ruleye is committed to helping companies use automation as a first line of defense to help with this crisis. And to do that, we've actually created a rapid response team of bot building experts that can help companies design and launch bots literally within days to deal with this emergency. The other thing I want to mention is we've created a COVID-19 HR bot. And the idea behind the bot is to basically help companies communicate coronavirus-related information, as well as corporate policies to employees and allow them and guide them on how to take action. And we decided as a company to make this bot available free of charge to anyone who wants it. And you'll see on the outro of this video, you'll see a link on our website where you can actually go and learn more about what we offer and how we can help. You can also request an account there. If there's anything else that we can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can easily reach us at contact@rule.ai or visit our website. So thank you very much for watching.